Hello and welcome to BW Police World. So ever since PM Modi has taken the initiative of smart policing in 2014, we have witnessed a reduction in the crime rate against women by 0.16%. So do you think this crime rate, this trend is going to continue?
It's just a statistics, I would say. Don't use it for this kind of an inference. Smart policing has a very different connotation, and it has frankly nothing to do with reduction in crime. I look at it this way, that an increase in crime does not mean that the instances are increasing. It only would mean that your access to those who are affected has increased. So initially there should be an increased reporting, after which it will stabilize. That's the time when your intervention should work to reduce it. But initially the increase in registration as a rule should be always welcomed as a positive step, because it means more access to the vulnerable people. You can always stop registering crime and say it is reducing, but that's not the solution, and that's not the smart way of policing, frankly speaking of. My mandate is to reach those who are in need of the grievance redressal, rather than denying them the access. Reduction in crime may continue, may increase. That should not be a matter of concern for us. The concern should be whether we are able to book the criminals, whether we are able to provide financial, medical and rehabilitation help to the victims or not. That should be a more prime concern of a smart policing rather than reduction in crime. That should not be criteria.
So as you've just mentioned that we need to provide rehabilitation and psychological support to the victims as well. So how do you think is the importance of self-defense when we talk about reduction in the rates of crime against women?
It's a central issue, not because it has something to do with women, or it's gender neutral, because in your own safety you have a stake. Like for example, you always lock the car when you leave it, because you have a stake in you lock your doors. You are supposed to lock it because you want to remain, you feel safe if it is locked. I mean, so you have a stake in your safety, if that is accepted. So if you are a stakeholder in your own safety, it makes sense that you learn how to be better in responding to a situation where it could be potentially harmful to you. I mean, suppose you are in a situation where you could be hurt, you should know the techniques how to get out of it, and self-defense is an integral part of it. So everyone, whether it's a girl or a male, should learn the techniques of self-defense, and more so because most of the statistics say that majority of the crime, especially like domestic violence or even violence against a person or a woman or a man, happens within the four walls of the house, where you are supposed to be safe. And there these techniques will be far more useful to you, because by the time anybody else will reach, it might be a little late. So you need instantly, so you have to be equipped, empowered, skilled to protect yourself, and you have to know how to do it, and that needs practice. It's not easy to learn, but it needs practice, but you can. It's not impossible.
So do you think we need to be strict when we are talking about law enforcement to give a message?
Yes, law is should be implemented universally across, irrespective of who you are, and that's why you see the blind lady holding the scales, because it's universal. If you commit a crime, whoever you are as guilty as anybody else would be. So that's the way it is. It should be implemented very strictly and to the T, as they say.
What, according to you, are the challenges that we are facing today when we talk about law enforcement, and what are the recent methods we have taken to ensure the safety?
The challenges that we face in investigation is when you increase your access our crime rate suddenly increased 4 times. From 50,000 per year, it increased to 2 lakh. Every investigation of case requires certain number of investigating officers, certain number of days which he is supposed to, because everything needs time to do. And if you have such large numbers, and the number of IOs cannot be increased overnight, because it takes years of training to train an officer to conduct investigation fairly. Now that has not happened. So it has put a lot of strain on already overstretched investigation machinery. So that's a big challenge for us. Secondly, the challenge is how to incorporate the digitalized world today that we are living in. We are still having laws which were made in 18th, 19th century. Now today the world is digital. At that time it wasn't. So how to change from a non-digital world to a digital world, which means a lot of things. How do I authenticate a digital data? How do I store a digital data? How do I reproduce with authenticity our digital data? How do I transmit a digital data to ensure that nobody is able to corrupt it? So there are a lot of challenges that we are facing today, not only in terms of manpower, but in also the onslaught of fast pace of change of technology that's happening today. We have a lot to learn on that issue, and that's a big challenge for us. Courts, for example, will have to learn to deal with digital data better. Maybe in future you will see digital courts, maybe you will see complete investigation done digitally, and that's coming round the corner.
Faster turnaround.
Absolutely. So those are the challenges that we have.
So as you're talking about digitization and the evolution of technology, how crucial do you think is modernization of police to give a better service to the citizen?
Modernization of material, modernization of mind, I mean thought, and intent is very, very crucial. Like I just told you, in future today's kids who are, let's say, studying will only store their information, their data on a digital platform. Cyber offenses, for example, is going to blow up big time in the near future. Cyber stalking, for example. So I really will have to learn to create digital beat. Currently I have beat constables, roaming around the streets collecting information. I'll have to start thinking in terms of digital cops. So I'll be looking at various platforms wherein I'll be fishing around to collate intelligence information out of it. It's a digital world which is going to be out there, and for me to tap into to maintain my basic mandate of public order. So it's very exciting and very challenging for me in the near future.
So maybe we can say artificial intelligence or robots would be a great help in the near future?
There is no way I can do without it. I mean, I'll put it this way, whether I willingly do it or I am being made to do it, I'll have to do it. For example, when we talk about London, we say it's one of the most heavily videographed city. You go anywhere, it's seen. Can you imagine what happens when you put up a video camera? You put up a video camera, it's catching 30 screenshots or 60 screenshots depending upon the megapixels that it had per second. And if you have, let's say, 30,000 cameras, imagine the kind of digital data that you are generating. Who is going to analyze it? Who is going to see where the alarm is getting raised? How the alarms, I mean, it's humanly impossible for a person to physically see this data, analyze and take corrective action. So artificial intelligence is going to be there. You just can't live in a digital world without artificial intelligence coming your way. You have 4D printing coming up. So I'm coming to gain access into your system which checks my iris. Now my iris is 4D printed. Now you don't know whether it's natural eye or my 4D printed eye. How would the system read it? Now, so there starts coming the challenges. Without artificial intelligence, human eye will not be able to distinguish whether it's a 4D printed part or it's a normal part. You just can't distinguish. So, you do need artificial intelligence to tell you which are the cameras from where this particular accused has passed through, so that you can retrace the path that he came in, or even know his exit path, or even plan, if you come in real time, know about it, how it is, which are his possible ways that he is going to escape. So, no human person can ever tell you. You do need artificial intelligence, and you just can't do without it.
So, sir, what could be the transformational steps which we could see in the coming few months or in the near future, which could bring a change in the system?
Yes, first you will see almost every state police force, including Delhi police, creating a separate data centers for itself, which will be heavily protected, because next warfare is not going to happen on land. It's going to happen in cyberspace. I'm already under cyber attack almost on daily basis. So, I'll have to have a very well protected database, which will be like my soul and bread and butter, and I'm to protect it. Ensuring my flow of data on various different kind of platforms, so I can exchange data in the real time. So, I'm talking about this center will help me to push information as of today in 4 minutes update on a beat constable's phone as to where all the crime is happening in his beat. I am trying to empower him with information, so that he can take the corrective steps that is required to be taken based on that information, which is instant, almost instant. What I am saying, for example, there are calls of robbery coming from a location. Now, he will get it within 4 minutes, and if in his beat he should respond. If he responds well in time, maybe I'll catch the criminals then and there itself, and that's the kind of service delivery the future police force will have to think about. How my service delivery is going to make the life of those who I am serving better, that is citizen of the country, in terms of my response to their distress calls, which is my mandate, in response to responding to their long standing dispute in terms of fights with the neighbors, my interventions, or they wanting to get renewal of their licenses or redressal of their various grievances, or their servant verified, or themselves getting registered in as a senior citizen, or requesting for a police cop to visit them as a senior citizen, or if they want to join me for their self defense courses. I mean, they do not have to come to the police station to know about it, because it is a digital world, the services are going to be digitalized. This should be available at the touch of their button. So, if you lose a purse here, you do not have to locate for the thana. Your phone should tell you where your police station is, whom to talk to, and who will come to you in how much time. That should be known to you. You do not have to tell me you are standing at ITO, because you would know you are standing at ITO. I should be knowing your locations automatically, and I will know, are you standing near that particular sign? Oh yes, I will locate you quickly. You know, so my services, my service delivery agreements will have to be codified in future, because of the intervention of technology, because the intervention of the artificial intelligence. Thereby, I will be able to reach the person in the distress faster. My response to the complainant or to the citizen should be compassionate, not inhuman as you accuse me of now. Okay, when we go to the police station, nobody listens to us. If they talk to us, they talk to us in a wrong language. They meet us in an environment which makes me feel scared. I mean, all those things should be redressed if I want to give you a quality service, and that is the intention of modernization. That is what to me the modernization actually is.
As you mentioned, there are times when a citizen feels uncomfortable while visiting the police.
Yes.
So, do you think that there is a need to provide behavioral training as well to the police?
Oh yes,
to bring a better connect with the citizen?
Why else do you think I spoke the word compassionate? I can live with a less efficient cop, but I want him to be compassionate to your pain. I don't want a cut and dry, very professional cop, no. Because A cop deals with people in distress. That means they are in a state of emotional distress, distraught. And there you do need empathy on part of a constable. Because I am the first responder from the government side. You do need somebody to empathize with the pain that you are going through, to understand the unspoken language. Getting it? A person in distress may speak something, may mean something else. Only an empathetic or a compassionate person will. Mother pakad leti hai na? I want my cops to develop that. So behavioral inputs is required. When I said, you asked me modernization, I said modernization of mind too, modernization of your emotional quotient too. For me, that is far more a challenge, and that's for me that's being smart. That's what smart cop means to me. Responsive, compassionate. He is reliable in his responses. So why should you come to me? I'll come to you. So, aapki police, aapke mohalle. That should be the tagline of a modern smart cop. So, you don't have to come to the PS unless you are to be arrested or something serious. I'll come to you. That's being modernized. Correct? I'll meet you at your convenient time in your environment. So, at least you can't accuse me of being insensitive. Getting it? And I'll bring the service of the cops at your doorsteps. Rather than you pursue me, I'll pursue you.
So in the end, do you think that to bring this futuristic approach, we need a 360-degree transformation in our infrastructural setup?
Although I said we are working with archaic rules, but the kind of record keeping that was evolved earlier was almost computer synchronous. They were handwritten computers literally, because each was linked to each one. So you knew what you are what's happening there. This has been completely digitalized, so I already have the technology. We just have to force our way to get them an access to the technology. For example, now a constable will have to have a digital device so that he can take the police station to your doorsteps. He'll need a digital device. For example, a cop, an IU investigating officer will need a digital device to record what you are telling him instantly, rather than putting it down, losing a part of your speaking in the translation. A lot of things get lost there, or drawing the scene of crime and thereby losing a lot of information. Why shouldn't I digitally preserve it 3D so that I can access and see? You have walk-in cameras of all the big projects, all hotels. Why can't I have it for myself? It's doable, it's there. Just have to integrate it in my working, that's all. So digital investigation, digital beat work, digital police work is the way forward for a smart cop. There is no doubt about that. And in fact, that's what our Honorable Prime Minister has been also directing us, mobile governance, for example, he speaks about digital India. I mean, that's where his thrust is coming across.
Well, being a citizen, I would love to get these services coming along in the recent years, and we thank you so much for having a conversation with us. Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for coming.